Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I am fine. Very good. All right. So, what a way to cap off the week. Go 10-0 in the pros, 0-1 in with the Army. Amazingly enough, they lost. Yesterday, I had Minnesota winning 27-10. They won 30-13. Pretty fucking close. And Atlanta wins 19-14. I think 19-14. Putting up a whole 19 points on Atlanta on Oakland without Max Crosby. We all know Kirk Cousins sucks. Anyway, have Minnesota. That's the fourth lock. So the locks again were Dallas getting 9 from Carolina was probably the easiest lock I've ever done in my life. Denver was a feel. I knew Indiana was okay and it'd be a closer game. They weren't playing a Z team, but I knew they were going to win. I just felt it. Philly Pitt, I love the under in a Philly game. That was lock 3. And then lock 4 was Minnesota minus the 1 at home. And especially once the Lions lost, then this was, I would have locked it again. Hit it in 2 teasers. And they went easy, 30-13 or 30-12, something like that. Now let's get into my special. So to help the holidays, So the special is going to be, the bowls are $100. So if you want the bowls, I've had people buy the bowls because you get the playoffs with the bowls. But also for the pros, $75 a week. We got 3 weeks left plus 4 weeks of playoffs and Super Bowl. So all that, $200. So you're going to pay $100 already for the bowls. So why not then for another $100? You get all the NFL games. 3-0. So let's look at it. This week I go 10-0. The week before I go 10-0. That's 20-0. Week before that I was 9-2. I end up 29-2 the last 3 weeks. Fourth week, but the last 3, 29-2. Better than any Amazon stock or almost as good as gold. So I don't have it in the purchased items because it's just sort of a whim. But you can there is a $200 one. You can purchase the Pro Picks for $200, and I will know that's all the picks, and I will give you the end password, which will give you all the picks for everything. So buy that one. Otherwise, you're looking at, here's the bowls, college bowl, all bowl games and playoffs, $100, college playoffs. And if you want the college class, that's $50. The pro class, $25. These are for classes. The picks are separate. So that's what you got. So just go to Teaserking, purchase picks, buy the pro picks for 4 weeks for $200, and you'll get I'll give you the password for all the games going on, and that'll be good. All week and next week, all for Christmas. So you'll have that option. Because if you keep paying $50 a week for the bowls, it'll cost you $200. And if you buy the football, the pros are 75 a week. You got 7 weeks, so that's like 75. It's like $500. So for 200, you get everything. So up to you. Now, if you've already bought like Todd, give me another 100. You get all the pros. Same thing for Alex. He wants the pros. Just give me what you gave me already, and that's it. So just it's a huge discount. I'm so hot. 29 and 2. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row. I ran the table 10 and 0, and I go 4 and 0 in my locks yesterday, and the week before, I think I just had the Dallas Cincinnati over lock. I think I had 3 college locks. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of locks in the pros. And then this week, I've already locked a game. I played it with the college. So there's one really strong game I love in college, and I've locked it with the pro this week. The college game will be by Sunday. I did put my cayenne pepper in here along with honey and cinnamon and ginger and all the goodies. All right, so to show you how I pick, because I don't know if everybody understands this. So we start off with the college pro. We hit the Rams Thursday night. We lose Army. Then the lock. Dallas getting 9, Pitt under 49. We win. Minnesota -1, Denver +2.5. We win. The Buffalo Detroit over, which I was going to lock. If it stayed at 51, I would have. And Washington -1, I win that one. Kansas City under 49.5 with Pitt under 49. Easy winner. Again, the Army, I played again with Dallas because I wanted to put Dallas in a second teaser, but it lost. Then Minnesota last night with Buffalo over. Dallas, I play with Washington. And Cincinnati, I play with Denver. Cincinnati over. And Denver. And then I got Kansas City under with Green Bay over. I was shocked to get the Green Bay over, but I like Kansas City under because with their defense, I didn't know Mahomes was going to get hurt. So that was last week's. You can't have this week's plays yet, but I have posted. So if you bought the bowls, I did post some picks. I do have a lock. I posted 4 college plays and a college pro lock, and I'm about to post 2 or 3 more pro locks. I studied the playoff games and came to the conclusion how to play them. It just hits me. Usually it's, do I want the points or do I want the total? And I kind of weigh it in. I look at some other games and I go, yeah, no, the total is good here. The points are good here. So let's go through the line. Let's go pro first because I'm so fucking hot in the pros right now. This is when I reach unconscious state. I'm like the Twilight Zone. I can see the yellow. Like I'm looking at it, and there's the score. All right, we got San Diego 3 and 42 to Denver on Thursday night, which is today's Tuesday. I will be playing that one. Mahomes is playing. I was going to make a comment about that. KC is 2.5 and 41.5. And I was going to say, I know Mahomes is going to play because I know Mahomes. And you're getting 2.5. You can get Mahomes an 8.5, provided he plays. And obviously he's playing. I wouldn't think he'd have missed it. We got Pitt and Baltimore. Baltimore 6.5, 44.5. to Pittsburgh. They played a couple weeks ago. Pitt won 18-16 in Pitt. Atlanta 9, 41.5. This is down from 10. I'm hearing Penix might play in the game. I haven't heard it officially, but they asked the coach, like, you're going to keep going with Kirk Cousins? And he's like, well, I don't know. He wouldn't commit to Kirk Cousins. You're scoring 19 points on Oakland. You've lost 4 or 5 in a row, and you got Penix on the bench, who's 5 times better than Cousins. You'll see it when he plays. He'll go, he'll just eat him up. You'll see 35 points from Atlanta. Cincinnati, 7.5, 47 to Cleveland. We've got Detroit, 6.5, 48 to the Bears, 47.5. I'm really contemplating that game. After watching Caleb yesterday, all he does is run back and he takes a snap. He runs around in circles like the Three Stooges. He either overthrows or he just checks it down to some back for 5 yards out of the backfield. One of the worst quarterbacks I've ever. I mean, talk about not understanding concepts. He doesn't even get into the pocket. He takes 2 steps. The pressure's coming and he bails out. This guy's no quarterback. This guy sucks. Indiana, 3.5, 42.5. They were 4.5, so they dropped to 3.5, and it's only Tuesday. 42.5 to Tennessee. We've got Arizona, 4-47 to Carolina. How Carolina was favored over Dallas. See, no respect to Cooper Rush. I told you he's good. He lit him up. He threw for 3 touchdowns against them. He's much better than Bryce Young. I mean, that's not even close. And now your question is here, Arizona, which Kyler Murray shows up, right? Philadelphia, 3.5, 45.5 to Washington. This should be a good game. Washington needs it. Philly's just playing outstanding right now. LA 346.5 to the Jets's. Stafford against Rodgers. This is a very good quarterback play. We will see. Minnesota 342.5 to Seattle. Question is, who's going to be quarterbacking for Seattle? It looks like it will be. I don't know. I mean, if it's Geno Smith, I love Minnesota. If it's the other guys, Thurston Howell III, he's terrible. I didn't realize how bad he was. Oh, my God. I'm surprised he didn't line up over the guard. Buffalo, 14-46.5. Where's that? Buffalo, 14-46.5 to New England. Oakland's actually a 1-point favorite over Jacksonville. This line keeps jumping. Jacksonville went to 1. Now Oakland's 1. Does it really matter? Both teams suck so bad. Total at 39.5. You do have Brock Bowers, who will be the best player on the team. Jacksonville, from what I saw, threw the ball like 45 times last week. They still lost, but they threw 45 times. Who did they play? To the Jets's. So he throws the ball 45 times. So, good God, with Mac Jones throwing 45 times. We have Miami 1.5, 44.5 to the Niners. This was 46, so it's dropping 44.5. We got Tampa 48.5 to Dallas. And we've got Green Bay 13.5, which I think is a little high, 42 to New Orleans. Again, Carr's out. I would assume Radler, he was like 10 of 25, and they scored at the end. Apparently a bullshit touchdown because the refs, for some reason, stopped the clock on a completed pass, infield. The clock should have ran out. The game should have been over. They should have won by 7. And they win by 1. Who the hell knows why they did it? Because the Mafia wanted them to do it. What do you think? Green Bay's been very hot at home. it's a kind of a mixed game because New Orleans plays pretty good defense. Green Bay scores a lot. Uh, Pretty good defense also. So let's say Rattler against Love. Now, teams that need the game, Denver and San Diego both need the game for wild card. KC, I think, wraps up the 1 seed. Houston needs it for their division. Pitt and Baltimore, this is a playoff game because they're playing for first place in the division. Atlanta needs it for their division, not the Giants. Buffalo wrapped up their division. I don't think they can get the 1 seed. So before you'd play for the 2 seed. Now there's no 2 seed to play for. Cleveland, Cincy mathematically needs everybody to lose all the rest of their games, and they can go 9-8, but very unlikely. Detroit, Chicago. Detroit is now hanging by their thumbs as they need the game for the 1 seed to win their division. They got to play Minnesota the last week. So they could fall all the way to 5th. Because if they lose to Minnie, either Philly or Minnie gets the 1 seed and the other wins the division, Detroit would then be the wild card team, and they'd be automatically the 5th because the 4 division winners win it. It's not like college. You just, here it is. You win, there you go. Tennessee, Indy has an outside chance. They're 2 games behind Houston. Arizona, Carolina. Arizona needs it. The whole NFC West needs the game, so Arizona desperately needs it. Carolina sucks. Philly, Washington. Philly staying for the 1 seed and to win the division. Washington needs this for the playoffs. The Rams are very much alive. They're winning the West with Seattle. They play Seattle later on. So LA must win. The Jets are out of it. Minnesota, Seattle. Minnesota fighting for the division and the 1 seed. They're tied with Detroit. Seattle fighting for the NFC West. This is a playoff game. Jacksonville and Oakland fighting for that number 1 draft pick. Frisco and Miami. Miami is out of it. Frisco needs a miracle because they got 3 teams in their own division ahead of them, and they're not playing very well. Tampa Bay, Dallas. Tampa needs it for their division. Them and Atlanta. Dallas is out of it, I believe. Although look how good they're playing with Cooper Rush, right? Okay, it was Carolina, but we'll take it. And they lost to Cincy, but they scored a lot of points. They covered the over for us. New Orleans mathematically has a chance, but you doubt it. And Green Bay wants to wrap up the wild card, and they got a really outside chance to win the division. They've lost to the Lions twice. They lost to Minnesota, and then they get Minnesota next week, which will be a brutal game. So there you have it. I have found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locks in that mess. It's going to be a good weekend, especially as hot as I am. 29-2, and I got 6 locks. All right, in college. We start off tonight. We've got at 9 o'clock, it's 10-8. We got Memphis and West Virginia. We've got Memphis is now 5, and the total is 59.5. I have played this game. That's all I can tell you. Let's see. James Madison, 7.5, 51 with Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, 51. 7.5, 51. Well, let's go through this. Memphis is an 18 with the 22 defense. West Virginia is an over team with the 31 defense. Western Kentucky, James Madison. Western Kentucky is a B team with a 24. James Madison, an A with a 20. James Madison was 7, it's now 7.5, 51.5. Cal against Vegas. This game's in SoFi in LA. Don't know why. Vegas is now a 3-point favorite. Total of 48. We have a B team in Cal. At least I think it's a B team. 22 defense. Yeah, it must be. And Vegas is an A team with the 22 defense who choked against Boise 21-7. They didn't score. Oh, it was cold out. Come on. Jesus Christ. So I think Mendoza's out. Let's check. He's the Cal quarterback. He's been injured. He didn't play the last few games. He's questionable with an illness, so I assume that means he's not playing. Or why else would the line be moved? So that you got to be careful with the line. The next game, George. So those two games are tomorrow, and then we got the 19th, which is Thursday. I do that pretty good. Tuesday, 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday. Yep. That's why I'm the professor. Georgia Southern is 6-49 to Sam Houston. Sam Houston's been a good team. Georgia Southern's been a good team. I got Georgia Southern as an over with a 27 defense. Sam Houston with an under and a 20 defense. Georgia Southern 6-49. And it's funny when you go back in and see who they played. They played so many they beat Southern Miss and they beat Akron, and it's like, people want to bitch about the schedules. They didn't know Southern Miss was going to be terrible, or New Mexico State, or some of these teams. They're just, we'll play them. All right, on the 20th. So this is now Friday. We got 3 games. We got Ohio 3.5, 54.5. Ohio's a B team with a 17 defense, and Jacksonville State is the over team with the 25 defense. Ohio beat the shit out of Miami of Ohio in the MAC championship game, 31-3. They have a very strong defense. Jacksonville State with a good running offense. So we'll see. And you know me, normally defense wins. Florida minus 13.5, down from 14. The Sharps betting on Tulane, and 49.5. Tulane's an A team, but they got the shit beat out of them by Army. 19 defense, which didn't look like it against the Army. How did Army lose to Navy after killing Tulane? I just, wow. Maybe they just were flat. I mean, how could they be flat against the Navy? Florida, an E team with the 24 defense who've been playing very well. Are they all going to play is the other question. We don't know. I imagine all the Florida players will play, but we'll see. All right, the first playoff game, we've got Notre Dame 7.5, 51 to Notre Dame. The game's in Notre Dame. It looks like it's about 30 degrees there, which is okay. Indiana's a North team. Both teams are A teams. Both teams have 13 defenses. Okay, we know Indy lost to Ohio State, but it's really misleading. They played them pretty even. It was a punt return by Ohio State. Okay, and then they fumbled the punt where the snapper didn't catch it. That was 14 of the 31 points. That's 17-15. They played right with them. They didn't score as much, but it shows you how strong Ohio State's defense is. Notre Dame, you'd think they have a strong defense, but then you look at their schedule and you go, who the fuck did they play? And then when you look at it, you got Notre Dame. They played 2 good teams, Louisville, which was like 31-24, and they played USC 49-35, where they had 2 pick sixes. And I don't know where the guy was throwing the ball, but it wasn't even close. So that's what happened. So they gave up points to USC. So you think they have this really strong defense because they shut out Navy and Army and that, but they did lose to Northern Illinois. So they have a good run defense, let's say, or they're good against running teams like Army and Navy, but not here. And then you have Indiana, who blew out Nebraska, blew out Maryland, beat Michigan. All right, they lost to Ohio State. They beat Washington. Uh, overall, they really killed. Nebraska's a good team. So is Maryland. So is Michigan. So is Washington. They're not great teams this year, but they're not. Michigan was good enough to beat Ohio State. Let's not give them credit for that now that we see Michigan beat Ohio State. I don't know why people want to ignore that. Like, well, yeah, but Ohio State, yeah, as a rivalry, it doesn't count. Like, bullshit. Ohio State got, I'm not going to say outcoached by Michigan, but their coach had his head fully up his ass. And we will see. So, that's first playoff game. We'll see how that goes, but I think Indiana's going to play with them okay. Penn State, 8.5, 53.5 to SMU, 54. Both teams are A. So both teams, Indiana and Notre Dame, are A with 14 defenses. SMU and Penn State are A. SMU with the 21 defense and a really strong offense, and Penn State with the 16 defense, who showed a lot of offense against Oregon. And so I'm confused now because they don't really show a lot of offense. But I think in this game, we'll see how it goes. But this should be an interesting game. I think SMU can beat them. I don't think Penn State's that good. Who has Penn State beat? You look at Penn State's record. They played one game, Ohio State, and they lost at home. That's it. Maryland, Minnesota, at USC, they won by a field goal. USC sucks. UCLA, who wasn't very good. I think they played Washington too. Who did they play? They didn't even play Michigan. They didn't play Indiana. They played West Virginia. So, everybody's bitching about Indiana, which I think is ridiculous. And then here's Penn State, and tell me what they did. Who did they beat? Nobody. They didn't beat a good team. They only played one, and they lost to Ohio State, and that was it. All right. Texas, 11.5, 51.5 to Clemson. Both teams aren't officially A teams by the stats, but I don't like Clemson being an A team. Clemson with the 22 defense. They're right at the edge of an A team. Texas is a 13 defense. Texas, they got a really strong defense. I don't know, who did I play here? Clemson got killed by Georgia, and this team's not much different than Georgia. Very strong defense. Kubiak's been okay, but they did lose two other games. They lost to South Carolina 17-13. Where's the points there? So I see Indiana Notre Dame being close. Either team can win, and I see SMU Penn State being close. Either team can win, and both will be kind of cold in the north. Clemson, Texas. I don't see Clemson has a chance in this game. In our last game, Tennessee, Ohio State. Ohio State 7.5, 47. Both teams are A teams. Both teams with killer defenses. Tennessee a 14. Ohio State on 11. Even when they lost to Michigan, it was 13-10. So this either team can win. I give a small edge to Ohio State, not because of where they're playing, but I like Will Howard a little bit better than Biglio, the Tennessee quarterback who wants to go play volleyball. He's not a really good quarterback. He might scramble a little bit. I do like Sampson, the running back. He's very good. And the defense has two killer defensive ends on Ohio State. So we will see that game. But I don't know if Ohio State can make it through. So those three games, except for the Texas game, can go either way. I think either team can win it. Now, Tennessee plays Alabama. They play Georgia. Ohio State ain't going to be nothing. I love their coach, and I love their defense. I love Sampson, the running back. I don't love their quarterback. But Ohio State totally chokes against Michigan. Wasn't even close. Michigan had a good quarterback that won by 25. All right. We'll go through the 23rd because that's Monday. We've got UTSA, my team, is laying 8.5, 55.5 to Coastal Carolina. Both teams are over. Both teams have 31 defenses. Look out for Macau. He's been on fire, the UTSA quarterback. Coastal Carolina, not as Vasco's okay, but he's not. McCown's been outstanding. And our last game is Northern Illinois 3 and 40.5 to Fresno State. Northern Illinois, an under team who did beat Notre Dame with an 18 defense, and Fresno State, an even team with the 20-40. It's funny how Northern Illinois beats them, and then they lose the Buffalo, and they lose, to some of these teams that they lost to. You're just shaking your head, going, "How did you beat Notre Dame and lose to these guys? Are you kidding me?" Fresno State's been a major disappointment. Mikey Keene, way too many interceptions. There's like 18 touchdowns and 14 picks. No running attack for Fresno State. See, you can see where these teams, if you're not balanced, you really get fucked. And probably a really good team who's not balanced is Colorado. It's all passing. There's no running. Now, I remember a guy named Joe Montana when they won the Super Bowl his first year in 81. They couldn't run either, but what he did was throw passes to the running backs, kind of coming out of the backfield. That was their running at the end. They got 4 or 5 yards, and they were like, okay, that's just like a running play. So they did very few runs. Mostly it was the short passes to the backs. But Fresno State, they don't run the ball. That's their killer. And they got a 24 defense, Northern Illinois. I don't know. The total, I think, is low here, 40. I think that's just a bit low. Then we'll get into next week, or maybe as we get to the weekend. San Jose State 3, 60.5 to South Florida. Pitt against Toledo. Pitt 751. Kansas State 750.5 to Rutgers. Bowling Green 750.5 to Arkansas State. Oklahoma 7.5, 43.5 to the Navy. Now, Arnold, I believe, is in the transfer portal. So I think if you're in the transfer portal, you can't play. So I don't know who Oklahoma is going to have. The Navy, if they play the way they did against the Army, they'll beat Oklahoma. I mean, they're capable if they play it. Georgia Tech, 2.5, 51.5 to Vanderbilt. What the fuck? Arkansas, 156 to Texas Tech. Live dog there, Texas Tech, I think. Syracuse, 11, 59.5 to Washington State. A&M, 3.5, 51.5 to USC. I don't think Mayavi is going to be getting ready for the draft, and they didn't have much else. A&M should be an interesting game there. North Carolina, is Bill Belichick going to coach? What a joke. The guy's at North Carolina. He's not even at like Alabama or Georgia or Texas or Ohio State. He's at North Carolina, a basketball school. Oh, my God. So he's 254.5 over Connecticut. Big Nebraska, 2.5, 45.5 to BC. TCU, 13-58 to Lou Lafayette. Ooh. Tough with Lou Lafayette, but I think they're outclassed there. Miami, 3.5, 55.5. Is everybody going to play? I doubt Cam Ward will play because he's got to get ready for the draft. In other words, I'm too afraid. I don't want to get injured. I'll go sign an insurance policy. Hello, McFly. I mean, why don't they just do that and play? So he probably feels he doesn't need to play. I doubt he'll play, but we'll see. Watch the line. It's 55.5. Miami of Ohio, 342 to Colorado State. Miami of Ohio lost to Ohio in the MAC, and Colorado State, they're okay. They're not great. NC State, 5.5, 58.5 to East Carolina. They started scoring at the end there. This game makes no sense. Colorado, 3, 54.5. They're both in the Big 12. Why are they playing each other? And, Hunter's not going to play, and Prime Jr. probably won't play. BYU, everybody will play. They're Mormons. The Army, 1744 over LTAC. This was supposed to be Marshall, but all the Marshall players are in the transfer portal. They had a good year. So what do they all go to the transfer portal? This is ridiculous. So they get LTAC instead, who nobody's good enough to go to the transfer portal, and a 14. I would think Army would be pretty upset after losing the Navy. I think they want to get that taste out of their mouth. And nobody on the Army is sitting out. They're real men. They don't sit there. Old Missouri, 3-40 to Iowa. Iowa, if everybody plays, the quarterback's out, but they got the running back. Missouri, will Brady Cook play? I doubt it, but we'll see. Alabama, 10.5, 43 to Michigan. I doubt any of the Michigan players will play. Not that they have any good ones. Yeah, the quarterback will probably play. He thinks he can get drafted. Alabama's was 10, went to 10.5. Milrose will definitely play because he sucks. Oh, is he terrible? I thought he was decent, but he blew that Michigan game last year, and this year he sucked. Louisville, 2.5, 49.5 to Washington. This would have been a good game if they actually play. South Carolina, 9.5, 48 to Illinois. I don't know. South Carolina's Norris is a freshman. He's not sitting out. Illinois, I like their quarterback. Pretty decent defense. South Carolina is a really good team. We'll see. Baylor against LSU. Bobby, you here? All right, LSU 1.5 and 60 to Baylor. And if everybody plays, Baylor's going to light this game up. They're an over team with the 25 defense. I love their quarterback, Robertson. LSU, Newberger, he wasn't there, although I was happy they beat Oklahoma to get revenge for the Alabama loss. LSU 1.5 and 60. They're an E team with a 24 defense. Bobby, you going to be playing for LSU in the game? Ole Miss 15, 52.5 to Duke. Again, is everybody playing? All you can do is watch the line. Ole Miss, very strong. 2 defensive ends that the Lions should call up now. And Duke, I think Malik Murphy, Willis, whatever. He's Malik Murphy from Texas was their quarterback, and he's in the transfer pool. This transfer pool, this NIL is fucked up. Guys can't even finish the year because it closes. So you have to go in before the end of the season. You can't play the bowl game and then go in because I think it cuts off end of December or something. It's so stupid. So we'll see. My favorite matchup, Texas State, 10 and 65 to North Texas. This was 68. What's going on here? Over team, North Texas. Great team, great quarterback for Texas State. McLeod. If he ain't in the first round, then I don't know what the fuck these guys are doing. Minnesota, 6.5, 42.5 to Virginia Tech. Should be a good game. And the last game is Liberty, 152 to Buffalo. These guys will be playing, although Liberty has a good quarterback. He just didn't show. And that be your college. More on what's happening this week. So I have one lot going this week. I played tonight's game. I played one of the games tomorrow. I played the 19th game. I played the 20th game. And I've played all 4 of the playoff games. So keep that in mind. I've already locked a college game with the pro game. I can see having 5 or 6 locks. in the pros. I mean, they're just so obvious to me now. It's you kind of have the vision, as they say, right? So I look at a game and I figured out the teams so well that all I got to do is see the game and I go, yeah, that's an over, that's an under, that's a live dog. Like Dallas, Carolina, I took about 5 seconds to lock that game. As soon as I saw the line, Carolina -3, it was a lock. I'm taking Dallas in 9. So fast your head swum. How are Carolina favorite over anybody? I don't think they could beat an SEC team. I think if they played Georgia, Georgia would win, or Ole Miss or Tennessee would beat Carolina. Uh, how could they be favored over Dallas? No respect to Cooper Rush. You had CeeDee Lamb playing and you had Micah Parsons playing. You're giving them 3 points by whom? Bryce Young? Are you kidding me? He threw for 130 yards in the game, 3 picks. I'm surprised. This is why I don't understand where Andy Dalton is. If they really wanted to win, they'd have Andy Dalton out there. So it was like that, and just some of the games, like Denver, I just felt that Minnesota playing, it's like play against Caleb, play against Bryce Young. And, the only trouble I had was the Cincinnati game I did over, but all of a sudden Mason Rudolph comes in because Levis throws. He's 4 of 8 with 3 interceptions, and they pull him. Why is he playing? So Mason Rudolph comes in and has a good game. So I could have got fucked, but I did play the game over, and because it's Joe Burrow. So it's starting to get very, very easy to pick these games. I avoid the Jacksonville and the Tennessee and some of those games. I just New Orleans, what the fuck? Atlanta, what the fuck's going on with them? Oakland. But there's my Denver. I did stay away from San Diego because of Tampa Bay is a good team. So, it gets back to good teams against good teams. You probably want to take the dog. You can't figure out who's going to win. I did stay away from taking Pitt as the dog last week because I saw what Philly did to Baltimore, and I saw what they did to Buffalo. Or no, Baltimore did that to Buffalo, but I saw what Philly's doing, and their defense is getting stronger and stronger. And I said, and Pittsburgh's got a great defense. I said, well, there's not going to be points, and there wasn't. They got to 40, and I had 49, so I could have let up another touchdown at the end. Fortunately, Philly took a knee 4 times at the Pitt 9 instead of trying to score, which was smart. So that's why you figure out the teams. And college is a little bit difficult because of this NIL bullshit. And the bowl games can be tricky because of the same reason. The bowl games are very tricky because you don't know what to do, right? The guy, if it's a playoff, everybody's playing. If it's Michigan, Alabama, half the Michigan team probably won't play because they are famous for sitting out bowl games. So are the players going to play on the teams? And this is where, it gets tough. And here's the Duke quarterback going into the transfer portal. What the fuck's he doing? He had a good year at Duke. So that's really what you have is, you got to be careful. Are you playing your players? Now we do get more playoff games, but it's what 12 teams. So Saturday, Indiana, Notre Dame, Ohio State, all their players are playing, and then they're waiting. Georgia and the others are waiting, so everybody will play in that game. I think it's stupid to play this week, and then. Well, I guess it's close to Christmas. It's the 22nd or 23rd. And then you have New Year's will be the next round. And then the 8th, I assume, will be the Final Four. And then why do they call it the road to the Final Four, the road to the what road is it? They're not driving. Fuck, where do they come up with this shit? So that's football again. What can I say? 29-2 the last 3 weeks. 4-0 in locks this last week. 1-0 in the pro lock, 3-0 in the college. So I'm 8-0 in my locks, or maybe 9-0 in my locks. Now I showed you I play them in multiple teasers. Teasers are not meant to be played one time. If you love the game, I love Dallas against Carolina. Think about it. Why not play them in two teasers? You already got them in one. You already love the game, right? Dallas and 9. They're not losing. They're getting 9 points. So you play them with, Philadelphia under. That was the big lock. Then I play them again. I think with Kansas City under or Denver or Minnesota. I mean, you just play them. I played all the locks twice. Even the Buffalo game, which should have been a lock, I played that over in two teasers. Denver was in two. Minnesota was in two. Kansas City under was in two. I didn't lock them, but I could have. Just because I lock them or don't, I still play them strong, and I still play them in two teasers. And that would have been the week to play a good, obviously a 10-team teaser would have won, but you play 5 or 6 team teasers. That would have been the week to do it, obviously. The last 2 weeks, just play your teasers. And I haven't heard from Titus, so I can't imagine he didn't win. You go 10-0, it's like, what, Titus, we had to win. Every game won. And then we've got, so that's what you learn. That's the theory I have why I'm successful, because I don't play a color, I play a grade. Carolina's a Z team favorite over Dallas. Cooper Rush is much better than Dak Prescott, and I'm getting points. I got CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. It was the easiest bet I ever made in my life. I mean, there was no way they were losing by 9. I didn't think it, they won by 14 or 20 or something. It was 30-10 or something like that. And I'm getting 9. So that's why I say weak favorites. This week, let's see, the week favorite. Indy against Tennessee is a weak favorite. Arizona is a weak favorite against Carolina. Oakland, Jacksonville, whoever is the favorite's a weak favorite. Miami's a weak favorite to the Niners, and that's it. So the others are like they're good teams as the favorite. Buffalo and Cincinnati and Philadelphia, Minnesota, Green Bay. Those teams should be favored, but some of these that shouldn't be. So that's what you learn. You're playing the strength of the team. You're playing against the Z team. You can't have a Z team be favored. Let's see who the Z teams are this week. The New York Giants, Cleveland, Tennessee, Carolina, Jacksonville, and Oakland. It's like the Conference USA has 4 Z teams in it. Well, here you got Jacksonville and Oakland, the Z teams playing each other. It's hysterical how bad Oakland's got, and Jacksonville sucked even with Trevor Lawrence. Mac Jones looks better than Trevor Lawrence. Then you get who needs it for the playoffs. So there's another dimension added in that the analytics, I'm sure, don't show. Or how do you figure that out? You got to change the formula. It's like what I say about the 4th down. Go for 4th and 4. You should go for it, but against which teams and what time of the game, field position. You don't go at your own 10-yard line against Baltimore or Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. You're out of your fucking mind. The odds on getting it are 0. But that's not what the analytics tell you, because it doesn't break it down. It's just a big picture, right? It's, teams that have done that have made it 51% of the time, so go for it. Who the fuck coaches like that? Only idiots coach like that. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on with the Bitcoin and the debt. Is Bitcoin going to pay off the debt? That's a very interesting thought. I'm thinking Bitcoin is not money. So it would be like saying, is Mickey Mantle cards pay off the debt? Or any asset. If you got a Picasso worth $36 million, would that pay off the debt? you could get that, and you wonder why they don't. Gold would pay off the debt if you really think about it. Like, you don't have to print money to pay off the debt. You can use other assets. You could sell a building or a painting that's worth $36 million, and you'd have the money to pay off the debt. So I don't know why they're not doing that. I don't know that they can use Bitcoin to pay off the debt because it really isn't real. And how would you sell it? You'd get money for it. But who, because it's owned by people, it's, even though, let's say it's 100,000, what is it, a coin? I don't even know what it is. So it's 100, doesn't mean you can use it for money because people own those. So it's like using Mickey Mantle card to pay it, but wait, I own it. I'm not giving it up. So I don't know how they can, because it's not like they have the Bitcoins. The individual, Michael Saylor, owns all the Bitcoins, and and Madoff owns them all, and those people. So I'm not sure that you could, because they are not. It's not like the government can print Bitcoin, although they probably try. So I don't think Bitcoin can pay off the debt because it's owned by other people, and they'd all have to sell it to the government. So the government would have to have an incentive, like, well, we'll give you gold for your Bitcoin. That would be the only way to sell it. But nobody's going to sell it because they think it's going to keep going up. But the government, how will the government get $36 trillion worth of Bitcoin? There's not that many Bitcoin. So I think that's out, because it's not money, and it's not money. So I don't know that anybody would want it. If you owed me $1 trillion, like you owe the Chinese in T-bills, are they really going, oh, we'll give you Bitcoin for it? And it's not even legal in China. I don't see it, because nobody knows what Bitcoin is or what the real value is. I don't see how they could do that. So I was watching Bloomberg at work, and I just kind of like, can they use Bitcoin to pay it off? And now I'm just kind of thinking it over now, and I'm going, no, because the government doesn't own it, and they can't print it. They can't just say, hey, let's print 36 trillion Bitcoins, because there's only 21 million of them apparently, and there's 17, 18 million gone. Although when Michael Saylor buys them, or these ETFs buy them, how many aren't they buying them? The good old ETF Ponzi scheme. Oh, well, we're selling them, but really nobody can take ownership of them. Just like gold. When you buy a gold ETF, you don't have any gold. You can't get any gold. So that's what's going on in that with the Bitcoin. The stocks just keep going up. This is going to be murder. People are going to lose everything. There was a little story, like in 1929, when the shoe boy who polished the shoes, the shoe polish boy, when the shoe shine boy, when they're giving stock tips, you get out. And that's what's happening now, is everything's going up, which doesn't make any sense. A lot of it is capital gains tax. So they're letting it all go up so they can tax you, because they don't want to raise the taxes to 80%. Nobody would work. So they don't raise taxes directly. They raise them indirect. Oh, capital gains, you're going to pay 25% in tax, and we're going to really shoot it up. And then when the market starts dropping, people will panic sell, and that's when they'll get you on the capital gains. Just like Bitcoin, it'll fall because it's not real. There's no value. It's not money. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. So keep that in mind. It's not real. We can't use Bitcoin as currency again, because people like Michael Saylor, who own all this, they own it. So there's not enough for everybody. You can't really back the dollar by Bitcoin. You're going to come out with a digital Bitcoin dollar. But first of all, it's not accepted by everybody. It's not wanted by everybody. The dollar definition must be the thing that's most wanted. So at this point, this is the thing most wanted is this currency backed by gold is what people wanted. And so you have this problem where people don't like Bitcoin. They don't want it. So therefore, how are you going to use that as money if everybody doesn't want it? So digital money will never work. Bitcoin will never work. And it's not accepted. Nobody wants to use it. So everybody has it to save, right? I'm not going to spend my Bitcoin. So how the hell is it a money? You won't exchange it. It's got to be a medium of exchange, but nobody will exchange it. I don't want to get paid in Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin will never work. It'll be a side option, just like a baseball card. It'll be a collector. It's a collectible. People stupid enough to put 100 grand into air will get what they deserve. It's going up. It's going up. It's a Ponzi scheme. Of course it's going up, but you don't own anything. If you don't have it in your hands, it's worthless. So if I were to get a digital Mahomes, it wouldn't be worth anything. It wouldn't have a value because it's not real. Brady tried to do that. He tried to Ponzi scheme people by selling his autograph digitally. That worked for about 10 minutes. And then you want the autograph. You don't want it digitally. You need it real. Things have to be real. They have to be in your hands. If they're not, forget about it. So the idea of Bitcoin paying off the debt is a fantasy. Gold could pay it off, but you don't have any. And you're not going to get it from the Russians and the Chinese and the Indians and the Saudis. They're not going to give you their gold so you can pay off your debt. It's not going to work if you're too stupid to do it. Now you could theoretically, I guess, sell Picassos to pay off the debt. Who's going to buy them? The U.S. government with what? Then they'll have to print $10 trillion for a Picasso. This is the problem. It's trillion. It's not like maybe I can sell a Picasso for $1 million, but you need 36 trillion. And there has to be a buyer for it. It ain't Trump. So this is the problem. And you can't pay off the debt with Bitcoin. You can't even get it because it's owned by other people. It's not, that's the problem with it. It's not something the government approves and can print. But I don't call 21. It's funny how they call 21 million limited. And now with ETFs, it's more like probably 21 billion because again, they print 96 times. So a ETF is, another 5-6 million Bitcoin going out there. And again, it's priced in dollars. So when the dollar goes out, so does the Bitcoin. I think the government realizes the dollar's on its way out, that it's printed to death, and they're looking for ways to escape without the dollar collapsing, but there just is not much time. So I know for Christmas, I'll be buying more gold and silver. I'm trying to get paid for it. As I said, I'm waiting to hear back. I'm really an employee, but they couldn't hire me because they wanted me right away. So I'm contract, waiting to be hired. I'm in the budget as Tenneco. So I'm waiting and waiting. And I'm hoping that I can at least get paid for the holidays the next 2 weeks. But if I can't, it sucks, but that's what happens. So anyway, the football, $200, you get everything through the end of the year, all pro, all college. If you've already bought the college, just make up the difference with the pro. So that would be a savings, but you get all the games if you want. And we'll see from there. Anyway, email me if you have some questions or comments on that. It's in teaserking.com. You get my email on the homepage. Like I say, I don't know, 10-0 last week, 10-0 the week before. Who goes 20-0? I mean, nobody goes 20-0. It's impossible. That's why I amaze myself sometimes. I didn't think I'd run the table last week. I thought it was a little harder, and and I still Denver starts pouring on in the fourth quarter. I look at Mini; they're up big. Dallas had the lead the whole game, and then Philly Pitt. I was a little nervous about because they scored at half, but then Pitt didn't score in the second half. So a lot of good games this week. It looks like Mahomes will play because they are now favored by 2.5. They were favored by 4, but it's unlike Mahomes to miss a game, and he's had these ankle issues before. If it ain't broken, he'll play. So I imagine he'll play the whole game. Houston, I don't know if they get that Shazier back or Shazam or whatever his name is, kind of a dirty player. And that's it. So now it's who needs the game. So now we got some good over teams and some good Z teams that we know. I'm curious, the Lions, with all those injuries, they lost Montgomery, their running back. He's out, and then all their defense. So we'll have to figure out what to do. But they're playing Caleb. What a good time to play Caleb with no defense. Now Caleb did light him up in the second half when the defense started to go down Thanksgiving. I think it's the field. I think the Lions' problems are two things. The field causes a lot of injuries, these rubber fields, and the fact they didn't play in the preseason. They weren't in football shape, and they're just wearing out. And I think that's the problem. I think my buddy said, yeah, the strength and conditioning coach needs to be fired. Because no other team's got 22 guys out on defense. I mean, that's absurd. That's just conditioning. I mean, they're falling down every play. Next play, 2 guys down. Next play, 2 guys down. What is it? You got guys from the high schools that are lining up at linebacker and then, so they can't stop the win. I don't know if Chicago can beat them or not. Caleb's so bad, but we'll find out. But I'll be shocked if the Bears beat them. But there's always 2 ways to skin the cat, as you know. So we're getting ready for the playoffs. We're getting ready for Christmas. I might work from home Monday, so I might do an early class. Nobody is in the office. They're all working from home. I go in because I'm too new, but I might work from home Friday and Monday just because if nobody's there, then there's no point in me going in, but I can still work and get paid doing, looking at stuff, learning some programs and stuff. So I will do that. And that's about it. What else? So I haven't looked at. Oh, we haven't checked our gold price. Our gold price is it's moving up 26.50, and silver at 30.53. Now we know silver is extremely price fixed because if it starts going up, J.P. Morgan's going to go broke. So we know that that's what's going to happen. But silver is going to really move soon, and gold's the same way. This 26.50 is a bullshit price. Why is Bitcoin so much higher than gold? It makes no sense, right? Because gold's worth something Bitcoin isn't. So that's what's going on there. Let's go to. Let's hear what Egon's got to say today.
We've been into gold since 2002 at $300 for our investors and ourselves. And one thing you asked me in the first Real Vision interview, what have you learned? And I said patience. And that's one thing. When you hold gold, you know you are protected totally. You know that stays at the bottom of your wealth pyramid. You don't look at the value every day, and you feel like very, very happy. You know that you have protection better than anything else. We've been into gold since 2002 at $3.
You tell him, Egon. Let's hear what Putin's
Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать. Мы не отказываемся. Мы хотим договориться. Эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас на этот счет контакты есть с американскими партнерами. И диалог идет на этот счет. Он непростой, но я сейчас не буду вдаваться в детали, но в целом мне кажется, что мы говорим на понятном для друг друга языке. Надеюсь, что мы найдем решение. Но, повторяю, и американская сторона должна услышать нас и принять соответствующее решение, такое, которое и российскую сторону устраивает. Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать. Мы не отказываемся. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоры...
All right. Let me send that to Daria. She's the only one that can understand what he's saying. So what he's talking about there is free trade, which says as long as it's good for us and good for them, we'll do it. If it's not good for us, we're not going to do it. So that's what free trade is. Let's see, anything else? What are we on, an hour? All right, let's see. Do I have anything in my light? Show Mark McGuire.
You got me fired up about something major that's going on that we were talking about just before we started recording here in the silver markets. Can you share with the community what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely, Shane. Obviously, look, it's unlike gold. This has been the problem with silver. Unlike gold, it's not yet been formally reclassified as a first-year asset class. So, but nevertheless, it's a component of Beijing's war efforts, alongside hedging, foreshadowed tariffs to come. Liquidity providers assess the relaxing of the SGE rules that we looked at last time is specifically focused on attracting large silver bullion flows into China to meet military and industrial demand.
full episode, just click the link below.
How many chickens you?
All right, that we watched that episode, but never hurts. I haven't watched the YouTubes the way I used to when I was home. Apologize for that. So remember, with economics, it's supply and demand, but it's got to be real. So be careful with bricks. If you do buy some, I don't know what if you got $100,000 to buy a brick or to buy a Bitcoin. My apologies. If you got $100,000 to buy a Bitcoin, what are you selling it at? 105. You're gonna make five. You're gonna risk 100 to make 5,000. That doesn't seem good. If you got $100,000, I would put it in the gold, not in the Bitcoin. That's very obvious. Just be careful, please. And you got to have an exit strategy. Just like when we're at the casino, you bring $1,000 and you're going to play blackjack. You get it up to $5,000. Are you going to keep playing? Yes, but you're going to put $4,000 in your pocket and play the other grand and hope you get it back to $5,000 and play it like that. But you're going to start losing. And when you do, you want a winner. Very important. And don't be naive that it's going to just keep winning. Red's going to hit roulette 100 times in a row. Don't be just that naive. Right now, yeah, Bitcoin's running. I don't know why. I don't know. People think it's going to be currency and it'll be valued much higher, but it won't be currency. It can't be currency or it can't be money because everybody owns it, right? So how is it money? We're going to make the dollar back by Bitcoin. How? You can't. You don't have the Bitcoin to back it. And if I had my dollar back by Bitcoin, I would throw it away because it's not worth anything. Well, it's not worth anything now anyway. So I don't know what Trump's thinking, but Bitcoin is not the answer. So you buy your gold and silver because they're real and they can't be inflated by that. Again, inflation. I keep watching. Inflation's down. And prices are going down, and they all think. I think part of it is because they're all Keynesian economists, so they all think alike, and they're all wrong. This is the problem. They're all wrong. All the Keynesians are wrong. It's been proven a dozen times that they're wrong. You can't print money and expect nothing bad to happen. It will. So that's why you want to be in gold and silver, because eventually BRICS will come out with gold and silver, and the dollar, the gold and silver will hopefully reach the real value that it's at, not the suppressed price control value that it's at. So your question is, Howard, how are we going to break the price control? And the answer is Russia and China. The BRICS countries will break the price control. They have the gold. They need it valued higher so they can issue dollars to all their citizens in BRICS. And that'll be the answer. The U.S. will collapse without gold. I don't care if you're the reserve currency or what. You're going to collapse. So keep that in mind. They will be out because you can't just keep printing. The Keynesians think you just keep printing, you won't run out of money, but the money you have has no value. So what good is it if the money you have is no good? Why is Venezuela broke? Because they keep printing money that's not backed by anything. Well, but they have money, yeah. But that's the point. You've got to back your money by something, and it can't be something fictitious like Bitcoin. It has to be real, and that would be gold, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin, again, it's not even the government's money. It's Michael Saylor's money and this guy's money and that guy's money. It's not real money, and it's got to be chosen by everybody. So if you had a gold-backed currency, everybody would love it. But if you have a BRICS, a Bitcoin-backed gold currency, nobody wants that. And the only reason anybody's in it because they think it's going to go up. It'll go from 100,000 to 500,000. Okay, and then how do you get your money out? Or will you never take your money out? You're just going to leave it there. How are you going to buy food? So it won't work as money, and it won't work as paying the debt off. It just can't. I'm not sure what the real value is, but how are you going to pay the debt off with Bitcoin? Here, Russia, here we'll pay the debt, or China or Japan. Yeah, we're going to pay in Bitcoin. They don't want it. They know the dollar's worthless, but they don't know what Bitcoin is. Give them gold, but you don't have any gold. So again, it gets back to the story. You can't inflate gold. You've inflated the dollars, and Bitcoin, nobody knows what the fuck it is, and it keeps going up. And it's a scary sight to see everybody. Oh, Bitcoin's up again. Bitcoin's up again, and you're just waiting for, boom, Fink and these guys to start selling it and watching it, because they want to sell it, because they want to do a put. They want to, like they do with gold, they want to do a put option. So they want to sell it at 106 to buy it at 80. I mean, that's what these guys do. And it'll be soon. Everybody's jumping on Bitcoin. It's not real. But, if you want to get in and make some, just remember to get the fuck out, because you will lose everything. It isn't real, so you can't really think you own anything. So it's not like a Rolex. Where would you want to own a digital Rolex or a real Rolex that you could put on your hand? That's the difference. So be careful there. Again, inflation is not prices. I don't know where they get it from. I think it's because the dollar loses value, so the price goes up, which shows you how much value the dollar's lost. But as I showed you, Peter Schiff, he doesn't even know what inflation is. They call it purchasing power loss, but it's the dollar being inflated. That's what inflation is, hence the word. And therefore, it's just simply, it loses value. So it is purchasing power, but that is the inflation, is the loss in purchasing power. It takes more dollars to buy the same goods. And that's all it is. It's these idiots printing the dollars to zero. That's inflation. But they can't, you can't really look at prices, because, like I said, there's competition, there's substitution, that you can, instead of buying a New York strip, you can buy a Delmonico because it's $2 cheaper. To you, a steak's a steak, ribs are ribs, chicken's chicken. So, I won't buy. I went to the store on the weekend for dinner, and I ended up getting a pound salmon as opposed to a pound steak, because I don't want to have too much meat now. I don't know. It keeps flaring up my feet. So I had the salmon, and it was fine. It tastes good. It was a little bit more than the steak, and I get a pound, but it's healthier. It's a quick cook. And I had that. And I had half Saturday and half Sunday. But that's the key to it. So anyway, be careful. Football, again, buy the Pro, $200. I showed you on my site. And when you buy it, I will give you the password for the rest of the year for everything. If you just want the college bowls, then that's $100. And it's also there. The classes are meant to be classes, but it's basically because people couldn't attend. I was giving them the password to offset, so they would at least get the class, because it's hard to really arrange the class, but they're really not meant to, instead of paying $75 for college, I'll buy the class for $25. It's not the intention of it. It's because you're buying the class because you want me to teach you what's going on with the games. So that's really what it is. It's not really a substitution for paying the $75 or $100 for the picks. So that's really it. And if there's a short week, the price doesn't go down. That one still cracks me up. It's there's not 60 games this week, so it should be cheaper, right? No, we're not. I'm not selling bananas here. And I think I went 6 or 7-0 in the conference championship games. I hit everything on Saturday. I lost the I lost the Boise Vegas game Friday night and hit everything Saturday. So it's about making you money. It's about my skill. So I'm not really clear on that. Yeah, that's another thing. I was 6-0 on that conference championship game, and then I go 10-0 in the pros, followed up by 10-0 in the pros. So, yeah, I am white hot, as they say. So, anyway, like I said, it becomes everything's in focus now. This is why I usually don't lose. I've never had a losing season because by this point, it's simple. And the way my theories are, I bet the games in 2 teasers like last week, and they win, and I win. And then I add it to my bankroll, and I've been, I've had some 31 unit locks, 37 unit locks. So you start having these bigger bets as the bankroll grows. So that's the key to it. That's how you win. You've got to be professional, find it, and take advantage of that. So when you get a Dallas +9 against Carolina, you take advantage of it. And again, I didn't even lock the Buffalo Detroit. I played the over, but I didn't lock it. I thought it was getting a little too high at 54.5, but Detroit just has no defense now. I like to see Texas State would have a field day with him with McLeod. He'd put up 40 on him. Anyway, that's it. So I'm going to post, I think, either today or tomorrow. And now it looks like Mahomes is playing as KC's -2.5. So we will react accordingly. And that's it. Any questions or comments? I don't see comments today. I don't know if they're blocked or not. Again, I can only see them. I can see the bubbles at the bottom on my mic. So when I first tried to do this, they were all white. I knew I wouldn't have sound. At least I believe that's when I don't have sound. And sometimes I don't get chat. It's just because it's not me. So I don't know. Sometimes YouTube gets crazy. Anyway, we'll see what happens with Trump on the 24th or 20th, getting into office, how quickly he ends this war. Hopefully, then I can go meet Daria finally. And that's about it. So have a great Christmas. Well, I'll be on, obviously, but it's already next Wednesday already. Hard to believe we're at Christmas. It'll be New Year's, and then it'll be my birthday in March. It's just the way time flies. That's why you should be stoic and enjoy yourself, and don't hang around people that make you crazy or make you stressed. Sometimes it's hard because it's your family that does it, but you just I don't talk to my brother because he stresses me out, and he's always right, and I'm always wrong. It's just weird how people won't let you be better than them, even though you are, or smarter than them. They can't handle it. So, family is really difficult because you don't choose them. You choose your wife, your girlfriends, your friends, but you don't choose your family. And that's really what the problem is. So you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And I said that to myself several times. What am I doing in this family? I don't like half of my family. But I like being stoic. I like when the girls say, well, you'll be all alone. And I'm like, yeah. And is there a problem being all alone? I don't have a problem being all alone. I'm free to do what I want then. Right. So anyway, it's, who knows, but that's stoic. Stoic's being confident and avoiding stressful situations, not football or craps or poker stuff, just, certain situations with certain people that are just vampires, basically. They never shut up, and but they don't say anything. Like you can have a conversation, but they don't shut up, so you're just like, enough already. Um, anyway, that's it. So have a good Christmas. Enjoy. You can eat what you want. I'll eat cake and ice cream or whatever, but I will fast. It's what, Tuesday, Wednesday. Believe me, Friday I'll be fasting. And then you get a good, enjoy it. And careful about driving. A lot of crazies out there. And if you travel, be safe. I don't know. I'm still itching to go to Vegas. I don't know if I will. I could, but I don't know. I'm kind of turned off by Vegas with the hotels being so expensive. Uh, and I've been to Vegas like 100 times, so it's not that big of a deal to go to. If I want to, I can go to MGM downtown and play poker, which I might do during the break. I can, now that I'm working, I tend to do that, and we will see. So anyway, that's about all I can think of. So again, economics, it's got to be real, can't be digital. Be very leery of digital stuff. If you can't hold it, it's not real. They can say whatever they want. Oh, there's limited to 21 million, and people believe it. Well, why do you believe it? You have no idea. Just like Madoff, you believed him. Why did you believe him? How do you make your money, Madoff? Well, if you have to tell me, then you shouldn't be in. Okay, fine, goodbye. I never got in because I knew it was a Ponzi. Because if you're getting a 5% return and this guy's getting you 10, and you can't explain why, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's not really hard to figure. Just like, when I saw Carolina 3 over Dallas, it was a lock the moment I saw it. I go, there's the lock. So it's getting easier and easier to tell that stuff. But if something doesn't make sense, like I say, if the real hot chick starts talking to you, be on your guard. Like, why are you talking to me if you don't know me? Now, it depends how she is, and you give her a chance. But generally, do you have money? Yeah, do you have $100? My car broke down. I need $100. Oh, okay, hot blonde. Yeah, I'm sure you care about me. So just be careful about that. As long as it's not about money, it's probably real, or they're going to get you for money down the road. But the hot blonde has the friends. She has her friends. She doesn't need you unless it's just something really, something strange. All right, I guess that's it. Any questions, comments, or maybe you can't leave them because I don't see any comments. Let me try to do a comment. Let's see if it'll allow me to. Okay, yes, I am there. Maybe I had to trigger it, but anyway. So all my college picks are, I think most of them are posted. And I will post the pros, I think, tonight. I was kind of waiting, but I want to get them before the lines move. And then very strong plays this week. Like I said, I could have 6 locks. I'm not sure if I will, but I can see where a good case for them. You got to watch the weather. Now, there's a weather site that I do go to. So this is NFL weather, which is recaps the games. So now we don't care. I mean, I don't know why they put it for the dome teams. But let's say, for example, Houston, Kansas City, clear in 34. This is on Thursday. This is Saturday. And then another Saturday game's Pitt, Baltimore. And this is cloudy and 35. And then, so we got 2 Saturday games. Okay, I didn't realize that. All right. Well, I'll be posted before then. And then Sunday, Cleveland, Cincy, slight chance of rain in Cincinnati. 31 degrees, light wind, but it's just a very slight chance of rain. Dome, Detroit to Chicago, mostly cloudy, 28 degrees, not a lot of wind, no snow, no rain. Let's see, Dome, LA at the be sunny, 26, 10-mile-an-hour wind. Philly at Washington, 31 and clear, 10-mile-an-hour. So this is Tuesday for Sunday. I might let it go one more day and then see what kind of weather I'm getting. Arizona, Carolina, sunny and 40, light winds. Minnesota, Seattle, there will be rain. This is definitely rain, 50 degrees. Is Geno Smith going to play? He did hurt his knee. I imagine he will. Here's where I was hoping Minnesota would be favored, but I didn't get it. New England at Buffalo, it's going to be snow and 12 degrees. 12 degrees, 6-mile-an-hour winds, slight chance of snow. Showers, then partly cloudy. Okay, so it's really not snow. And it'll be very cold, 12 degrees in the dome. Frisco at Miami, sunny and 73. Dallas in the dome. New Orleans, Green Bay. It's going to be 28 in Green Bay. This is the Sunday night game. No, this is the Monday night game. So this will be cloudy at 28 and no snow. So really the only games you got rain in the mini Seattle and you got snow. Well, you got cold in Buffalo, but probably not snow. Then you got these dome ones. So it says snow, but then it says possibility, it's 8%. So it's not really rain in Minnesota, and in Seattle is definitely rain. Sun in Carolina, sun in Washington, sun at the New York. The JETS is cloudy, but no, not big wind and not big. 28 and 8-mile-an-hour winds, partly sunny. High near 29, so a little cold, but not the big wind. And then you got maybe a little bit of rain in Cincinnati, but not really. And then sunny in Baltimore and sunny in Kansas City. Overall, it's not a bad week. Buffalo will be cold, and the Seattle game will be rain. So keep an eye on that. So that's the other thing you want to kind of now you got to worry about snow and the elements. So just keep that in mind. So I think that's it. Again, www.teaserking.com. You want the special $200. Just when I see it, I will then go and send you the total password, but it's for the rest of the year. So through the Super Bowl, through the college championship game, you get everything. So that's about 6 weeks of pros and at least 4 weeks of college. So you're getting a big bang for your buck. Or you can just keep doing what you're doing and buy the weekly picks. You're basically done with the college. You buy the bowls. You wouldn't buy the monthly. The pros, you could buy the monthly, but you're probably better off just buying the weeks or buying this. You're better off buying the full $200 for the rest of the year. Todd would just be 100. He bought the bowls for 100, so he would just another 100. You get all the pros. Alex too. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So good luck on that, and we'll make you some money. I can't get any hotter than I am. I can only go 10-0. I can't go more than 10-0 if I only play 10 games. So have a great night, everybody. I'll be on what's tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so I should be on. And that's it. So 1 more week for Christmas, 2 more weeks for New Year's, and off we go. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Again, www.teaserking.com. You can get my email there and email me questions, comments, and go from there. Okay. Take care, everybody.